Hey friends, welcome back. This is Deacon Lee Nguyen, and welcome to Joe's Masterclass. In our last segment, we talked about the first thing that you do to start any construction project is to have the end project in mind. Once you've got that defined in your head, then the next thing you got to do is you got to pick out the right material. And the more important the project, the better, the more right the material's got to be. Let me see. Let's look around. Let's see what we can use here. So there's all kind of different materials that you can choose from. The first one I picked up is just metal beam. Metal's awesome. It's strong, it's powerful, but it's hard to cut. It's hard to work with. And if you're working outside, if you plan to use your project outside, if you leave this thing outside, it'll become rusted and worn out. So if your project's to be outdoors, don't use metal. You could use noodles or doodles. These things are kind of fun and flexible. They're easy to work with. You could tie them up. But if you're trying to build something that's lasting, this is not going to work, right? The best thing it's going to be used for is kind of have fun with your kids, beat them over the head, hang out with them by the poolside, but not for construction projects. Let me see what else we got. You could use ribbons or linens or whatever you want to use. These things are really pretty. They're nice. What can you do with this in a construction project? You could wrap them around your neck. You could decor with it, but probably you wouldn't want to use this as the foundation of your construction project, all right? What else? All right, wood. Wood. You know what? Wood is so common. It's people don't really think about wood, but wood to me is my favorite. You know why? It's common, it's easy to find, but at the same time, it's really firm and strong. It's very ordinary, but at the same time, extraordinary. So what's all this material got to do with Jesus and Joseph, right? If you remember, the project master is the project builder, the master builder himself. And you look around, he could choose from anything. Anything here he could choose from. Anything out there he could choose from. So in giving his son Jesus the person, he could have chosen king, a queen, a master, a servant. In fact, he could even choose angels and archangels. But you know what? He didn't choose any one of them. All of them were not right for his son. He chose something different. He chose something in very particular. So let's see what he could have chosen. Like we were talking about this metal beam, he could have chosen a king, right? Something that's strong and powerful. Yeah, he could have chosen a king. Someone who's got houses and money. But because of its power and authority and wealth, it could get easily corrupted and rusted from the inside. And it won't withstand the weather and the torment outside. And so, God the Father certainly did not want that as a role model for his son, right? Even though Joseph, has royal blood. He's the descendant of David. And in fact, that's why the reason why they went from Nazareth, him and Mary and baby Jesus, down to Bethlehem or up to Bethlehem in order to be counted, because he's part of David's family. So he's got royal blood, but he didn't live like it. He didn't act like it. In fact, that he's pretty poor is because on the way into Bethlehem, in a place where they could have birth for their firstborn son, he wasn't able to buy himself an inn. That's why he and his wife and his newborn child had to stay outside in a manger. So certainly he could have chosen a king, a wealthy person, powerful person, but he didn't choose that. So let me see. What else did God the Father not want Joseph to be, right? Even though this thing's flexible, he didn't want the father's son to be kind of flimsy, flexible, relative. Whatever goes, goes. Whatever the world says, that's what you be. You give my son exactly what he wants, right? Whatever he wants, you make it happen for him. Don't stand your ground. If he puts you down, just shut your mouth. Is that the kind of father God the Father wanted for his son? But no, certainly not. Joseph was the type of dad who was strong in himself, who expected what's right and wrong, and he showed his son the right way of doing things. He certainly had character. He certainly had strength. He's not a flimsy little thing. Let me see. What about this thing that we talked about? It's a decor. It's nice. It's pretty. But is this what he wants the father's son to be? Really? A decor. Someone who stands there and look good. No, certainly not. He wanted the father's son to be the man who steps up and to protect, right? And a man of action who will lead and who will guide his son to the ultimate goal. And so that is why He chose extraordinary from the ordinary. And so the Father chose this thing. It's ordinary but extraordinary. It's because the Father of His Son has got to be firm enough to stand up to Jesus and to tell them, son, that's not the right way of doing things. You've got the splinter in your hand. And the Father of His Son, earthly Father, has got to be humble enough to be cut. Willingness to be even inserted by a nail or a screw on its side so that it becomes even a stronger structure to uphold something else. And so to build the frame for the house for His Son, He chose St. Joseph. That's the kind of man, that's the kind of husband, that's the kind of father that God wanted for His Son. That is why He chose St. Joseph. So all these other things are what St. Joseph is not. But this, my friend, is what St. Joseph is. And we're going to explore that in the next several segments. That way we get deeper into the qualities that make St. Joseph so extraordinary. So stay with me, come with me, and we're walking together in the footsteps of St. Joseph.